Okay, hello. How's everybody tonight? Hope everybody's doing good. This is gonna be just a little bit leveled. I moved my camera up and I'm getting a little bit strained on my view now. I don't look like very much like I got my eyes closed. I hope. Um, there is a little bit of glare tonight for some reason off of this light right here, but
Won't you try adjusting
I
it?
did, but it doesn't. If I do it like that, it takes more of the air. If I take it like this, you can't see it. It's dark. I don't know. Oh, she's gonna turn over the lights on the other side. Don't mess with that light, please. We're gonna discuss Barry Morphew's Andy's talk with Dr. Phil and Barry Morphew's what he's doing lately. But I wanted to cover a couple of missing people cases. First, I want to say we're very proud that the Amber Alert was canceled in Georgia this afternoon. They had a stranger abduction of a 10-year-old baby, and they recovered the baby safe and arrested the people that took the baby. And it was weird because I heard the Amber Alert go off at 6:10. So I whipped it over there to the computer, and then they said the baby had been found safe. So obviously they didn't have the news. What are you looking for?
I'm trying to get Maggie to back up.
The first case I do want to cover, though, is not much to cover. It's Linda Ann House. It was sent to me in an email at the missinglivestream.com, the missinglivestream@gmail.com. And she was pregnant with an 8-month-old, and she was pregnant, 8 months pregnant, and had 2 other children when she disappeared. The boyfriend, and this was in Dallas, Texas in 1985. So the boyfriend actually was interviewed, the boyfriend of the baby, and he denied even knowing her. He denied even knowing the girl. But it was substantiated that they were able to trace it back that he was the father. And he worked at an agricultural firm or something, architectural firm, and that when they finally approached him to give a statement, he said, "Talk to my attorney." So that sounds like he definitely probably was involved in this. I mean, why not? Why not give a statement? This is a picture of her back in 1985. Very, very little information on this case. There was a message, email from, I guess, the daughter to her father's, where I got the information about it. But it's sad situation either way, and basically the police department just called a cold case. I mean, it's 1985. It's 45 years ago. Is that right?
Earth Angel wants to know, is Thomas going to add me?
Add her as what?
Members?
We haven't done members. I'm going to talk about that a little bit after I do this. Next case here. The next case is Stacy Madison and her friend Susan Smalley. And this case happened in 1969. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. I was looking at the wrong date. That was her birthday, 1969. The other one was born in, Elizabeth Madison was born in 1970. On the evening of March 19th, 1988, these two good friends of theirs, they had a convertible Mustang. Wow, I don't. That was an expensive car even back then, I think. The Mustang convertible car. It was painted with the colors of their high school, basically, which I think that's pretty neat. They recently bought the car with both of their earnings. That's pretty neat too. I don't know if they were back then. I guess they were like best friends. They're saying. The girls were attempting to purchase alcohol from the 7-Eleven, and apparently the clerk did not sell it to them since they were minors, but there's no indication if they did get it or not. But they did return to the house, where Madison phoned a friend around midnight, and the girls left the house shortly after the call. Madison's car was no longer seen in front of the house where the kids were staying. And the last time it was discovered, basically, well, here I am. I'm reading the thing and I'm getting mixed up. Hold on just a minute. The last time anybody saw the girls was at Steak and Ale. An employee at the establishment told investigators that Smalley had been talking to another co-worker while Madison waited in her parked car. Smalley and Madison reported missing the next morning. The Mustang later was found that they were driving the previous night was found abandoned in the parking lot of a Dallas shopping center. And basically that is it on the information. This is the two girls back then. Of course, you can tell that's 88 hairstyle and everything. And this also is a girl what they think is the age progression on Susan Smalley right here. And, you know, I could read you what they were wearing that night and everything, but that doesn't do any good to tell you what that. This is the other girl's age progression. In fact, we know a girl that looks like that, really, but that's not her. The age is different.
Okay.
The age is different. Sandra's looks like Sandra's picture. The investigation aftermath said several months after two friends went missing, Smalley's last boyfriend confessed to another girl that he was dating that he had killed Smalley and Madison by his own hands and dumped their body at a local cemetery. After the girl shared this with the police, the boyfriend underwent a polygraph and passed. So, you know, maybe he beat the polygraph. Maybe he was involved, but he says here he later relocated to Florida, moving from town to town in the state over the decade, and attempts to contact him were unsuccessful. The police actually went to a psychic, and he told the girls that was murdered by a blonde-haired white male, glasses, between 28 and 34, who dumped her in a Grapevine Lake. However, a search of the lake failed to turn up anything of value. So, you know, it could have been the boyfriend. It could have, he admitted he killed her. So, I mean, if he goes there, takes a polygraph and passes a polygraph, then that's what I've been saying about, you know, everybody's talking about Barry not wanting to take a polygraph. Well, it would eliminate him basically as a suspect, because apparently when he took a polygraph and passed it, no further investigation was done. It's hard to beat a polygraph. It can be done, but it's hard to. Any questions before we start on this next thing here? Nothing? It is all, yeah, those are old cases. I mean, not much, you know, when you think about that, these girls, both of them missing, gone, nothing's been brought up about them. The first case, hardly anything on the internet. Very, very hard to find. Someone sent me that at the missing live stream at gmail.com, and I read it and followed up, but I went and tried to follow up, get some more information on it. It was impossible. Nothing available. And you know, back then in those days, there wasn't computers where police were putting stuff on computers. They were handwriting that stuff and filing them, and most of the stuff that they filed were eventually picked up and probably put on microfiche. But if you don't have them right in front of you, you can't get anything from it. Let's talk a little bit about my membership poll and what that was all about. the memberships, if you follow Profiling Evil and a lot of the other ones, they'll have what they call memberships. And I don't do anything for it. What would happen was that you would click on it and then it would take you to another page. It would show you a short video of me saying, this is what this is and the benefits of it. And then it will allow you to support the channel like as little as 99 cents to $1.99 to, whatever thing I wanted to do. Well, the poll was overwhelmingly saying no, they didn't want that. So I'm not sure if they understood exactly what that membership was. It wouldn't matter a bit about the channel. The channel would still be free. The videos would still be free. And so, that wouldn't matter. But I'm not going to do that right now. It's pretty much, it was like 54% said no. Yeah, right. 54% said no, 23% said they didn't care, and about 12, I don't know, you can look at it, it's like 12% of whatever said that yes. So right now, I'll just hold off on that. And my biggest thing right now is I would really love to make 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you could share these videos, it was amazing. When I first got, and I told everybody I wanted to make 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I made 1,000 subscribers in 3 days because everybody just went out and just, they shared my videos everywhere, and I picked up about 1,000 to 1,500 subscribers in like 48 hours. So if you could help me make 5,000, and then YouTube will actually pay me a little bit of money. I'm not getting rich by any means, but they did. Now, see, last video I did, they demonetized that video. They said it didn't serve the advertisers. So they basically put limited advertising on that video, and it cuts down way down at what we can do. But regardless.
CJ Sleuth wants to know, was there anything that came up from that DNA, I guess, on that Morphy case?
Are you talking about
CJ?
Yeah, CJ. What DNA on what case are you talking about? So I'll be sure that we're on the same page.
Oh, Retired Sarge says you can update your missing person flyer in Natalie Jones to recovered.
Wow. Did they recover? I guess she was deceased.
Yes. Sure.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful. I kind of figured it, and they'll probably charge. I hope they charge the witch doctor God, as he calls himself. I'm sure they will. I didn't check today. I mean, we were busy this weekend. We were in a place that hardly had any service at all. I barely had service, but thank you for telling me that, Sergeant Melinda. I appreciate that. I really do. Found her an hour or so ago. Oh, wow. Well, it's bad. They found her deceased, and just punishment, I hope, will be rendered in this case. But it's good for the family that they had closure. I can't imagine being out there and my daughter, friend, wife, or would be missing and just not knowing.
Well, look at the Natalie Holloway.
Right, Natalie Holloway.
Her
right.
Parents don't know. They
That's
have
right.
no idea. I
mean, we pretty well know who did that. I mean, they got the guy that actually said that. I mean, he made some comments and everything, that guy that was a suspect all along. But there's just not knowing for sure, and even bad as it is, it's good they have closure,
Barbara Johnson says it was the guys that found Nicholas Allen that are YouTubers.
Oh, wow. Well, that's great. That's really good. Listen,
he's talking about the two. CJ's talking about the two girls in the Mustang. Anything saved that later showed to have DNA?
I haven't seen anything on DNA other than somebody said they swabbed. I think the person that sent this Facebook was a relative, and they did take DNA from them, either a child or whatever, I guess to get DNA for her. But I've never heard anything about any DNA from anything else. So, and they haven't found them.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
And Russell's correct. He did go on to kill another girl.
Who?
The guy from Natalie Holloway.
Yeah, that's true. He did kill that girl in the room. And at least he'll pay for that, regardless of what happened on Natalie Holloway. I did want to talk a little bit about Dr. Phil and his interview with Andy Moorman. And I cannot play any videos of that after getting a copyright strike. But here he is talking to Andy. And you can see Andy just looks beat. Andy did an interview with Dr. Phil during the search. So he talks about the dogs alerting, and one thing he didn't talk, I've never really gathered out of any of the other stuff that I did was how experienced the dogs were. They were some out of New Mexico and there are other places. I mean, these were highly trained, experienced, courtroom testified, all these handlers had been there, done that. I can't show any of Dr. Phil's stuff because they gave me a copyright warning. They didn't give me a copyright strike, but they gave me a copyright warning, which means next time you do that, you get a copyright strike. Now, if you get 3 copyright strikes, you can basically have your videos demonetized. And, I don't really want that to happen, even though I'm not making much money with YouTube. It still makes a difference. He discussed the 3 alert points, and at that time, they didn't know if they were going to find anything or not. Apparently, the dog really, really alerted. They was more than just sniffing and a passive sit-down alert. The one at Longhorn area where they had the alert is a German Shepherd. They said one of the dogs was a German Shepherd, and he pawed at the ground. He'd eat the grass right there in front of the ground. He sat down, just crazy stuff about that. I do want to highlight this. Sorry, what you're saying here is they went in the area where being with their mom, a different location, heard of police scanner, law enforcement, found Jennifer Jones' body in a car. Wow, that is... Now, Jennifer Jones that's not Natalie Jones, is it? That's not the case out of Alabama and Georgia?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know.
I don't know. I may be thinking of another case there. But anyway, these were experienced dogs, and they were really, even though it's the worst case scenario is finding Suzanne dead, they really want closure. They really, really do. Natalie. Okay. Yeah. The riverfront is the one that I'm really questioning about. They had the machinery running that night. The older lady heard something running out there enough to wake her up. And she said, I normally don't hear anything because I can't hear good anyway. But then she opened the door any quick. So I'm wondering if she turned on the porch light and opened the door, I don't know why that it would quit right when she opened the door. And the riverfront is where the dog did a passive hit. Now, here's the deal with that. Apparently, I get this from Profiling Evil, is apparently they did not do more than talk to the handler, CBI, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, talk to the handler, and they determined from the handler and how the dog acted that they didn't need to tear down the wall and take everything up, which it's like Profiling Evil guy said, Chris said, he's got the money in a fund. Why don't you go ahead and do it? Just eliminate it completely. But apparently they did not do that. The Longhorn, of course, location was where the guy on the bike that I think somebody sent me a picture of that. Hold on just a minute. Somebody sent me a picture of that of this where they think it's Trevor, the he's what I think it is the nephew of Barry, or is connected. He's a cousin of Barry, and he was a relative of Barry. That was him. The nose just kind of, it does look like him, the hat and everything else. So, but that was out there. Also, one thing that they said, and I don't know if you watched the interview or not, it is on YouTube, is that they believe that Barry had searchers embedded with the search teams. In other words, he had people that actually were out there with the searchers monitoring things for Barry. Now that's what I gathered. But can anybody tell me if that's what they heard, or did they hear the same thing? I mean, that's what I heard. And Andy said that Barry was a great hunter and an expert tracker. So, he could easily went out and done some things. Would dig and sniff soil, take up for DNA in sites where the dog hit Andy's search. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to do that unless you have an object to take DNA off of. Straight DNA, I don't know if they could do that. I've never heard of it doing that before, taking DNA out of the ground or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if they could do that. I've never heard of it that way or not. They talked about also mountain lion, discounting how they disproved the mountain lion theory, and how that Barry stuck with the mountain lion theory. Even Colin Morgan said that he called her and said a mountain lion's got her. I mean, he stuck with that mountain lion story a lot, but experts said that only 100 people have been killed by mountain lions in the last 125 years. So that's a long time, and that's pretty much what experts have said. But that was very interesting about that they believe that searchers were embedded with them to kind of keep up on what things are going. At least that's what I was told. That's what they said. It was their opinion, but his truck EVI did not match the Bobcats information was bad. I didn't quite understand how that played into effect. That he gave bad information on the Bobcat. I don't understand that. What information could he have given that would have been relevant, other than the fact maybe the hours on the Bobcat or whatever? Is there a hint? Is there a hint of human remains? Why does Barry go racing to the site to check? Because the truth. My thing about that whole dig out there was they just went one spot where the dog was. I say let's run a couple of dogs over there and run the whole area in there and find out if there's any other scent. I mean, it just seems like it's not just doing one site. Yeah, right. Yeah, right now I don't think they have enough on Barry to charge him. No way. I mean, all you got is a bunch of circumstantial evidence that doesn't even really. It's tough. It is really tough. And these people, if I know the FBI or the U.S. attorney does not prosecute anybody unless they got you. I mean, it's they really got you. They got stuff on you before they're going to prosecute you. I guarantee that. That's why so many people plead guilty in the federal system. And another big thing that came out of the interview, which I think is probably one of the biggest things, is that they discovered that Barry was texting on the phone at 4 a.m. on Saturday or Mother's Day morning. I guess it was Sunday morning. He also was seen at 4 o'clock on Saturday eating lunch, eating a sandwich with Suzanne. So that was the last time that she was seen alive. And then at the house later that night, she was talking on the phone to her, texting on the phone to her best friend about a wedding she was looking forward to going to, when her phone conversation ended abruptly. So we don't know why it ended abruptly or what happened, but apparently something happened that would cause it to end abruptly, because the girl said she had called her and everything and couldn't get a hold of her. But here's a big deal. He gave two different stories that I understand about leaving his wife home at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. He said he got up, kissed her on the forehead, and left. That's one story. And then he said it again in another time. I woke her up and said, hey, I know it's Mother's Day, but I got this job. I got to get the workers working on it. We really need to do this. And then he left. But regardless, he wasn't there at 5 o'clock. Not unless he went back to the house, because they said he was driving and texting, driving down the road, texting on his phone at 4 a.m. trying to get workers to meet him in up there in Colorado, where the supposed interstate wall was done. But so that's huge. That's huge, because that's a lie they actually caught him in. If that is true, that's a lie. And I'm sure they get his phone, they can verify that. Now, whether or not he gave it up, because, he got mad at Morgan for giving up her phone. So I'm wondering now, did he even give up his phone? They could get a search warrant for it, I guess, but I don't know. Dr. Field said, look, if it was me, I'd take a lie detector test. I'd take a voice test. I'd do everything it needed to do to eliminate me as a suspect so they can concentrate on getting the bad guy. And, if you saw my one I did on venting, basically to Barry, saying, look, do it, man up, get out there and do these things. Then I want to know why he's so afraid to take a polygraph. Why? And if it can do so much good to eliminate him. And I had this discussion with that guy on here. He hadn't been back. The porta potty guy that left a message, his name's something porta potty. I accused him of being Barry, and since then he ain't been back. But he said the reason why, I'm not, he shouldn't take a polygraph. They're in an inadmissible court, and they're no good, and they can be manipulated, and blah, 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 But, if he would just do that, it would just eliminate him completely. I mean, it would eliminate a lot,
Rhonda made a good statement. She said Trevor needs to be careful and not become an accessory after the fact, because, those are a lot of times you are a witness to something and you're the next one dead.
Yeah, or in charge when it comes to charges.
Yeah.
One thing too, I heard a girl on, I think It's a Crime video. It's a Crime talking about this. You remember how Barry was out there with Draper, and he said, we've searched all of this point. He did a pie like that. Well, maybe he was trying to defer some people from actually searching that pie. So I'm wondering if they did that in their searches or not. It'd be interesting to know if they did. Dr. Phil's staff, the producer, did get a hold of Barry and did invite him on the show. And he told them not right now. He's not ready to do it right now. But that just goes to show you another thing. If your wife is missing and you can get you on a national TV show to put it out there and try to help find her, then if you don't do it, that just tells me something's wrong. Maybe he's scared to do it. I guess he is scared. I'm going to call it scared. And, another thing happened involving all this is Lauren Sharp, I think it's Sharp with the Fox 21 News. She got a threat. Somebody threatened her life, and that's why she didn't show up to those days out there on the search. At least that's what I've been told, that she had got threatened. Now, who would want to threaten her for reporting on this and digging into this case? Who has the motive to threaten her, to keep her from being out there reporting on this? That is just, they need to, I hope that the police really dug into how she got the threat and really find out who did it,
Those girls, if that was Suzanne's house, they need to have someone that's coming in and taking care of the girl's best interest and not allowing him to sell. That was their
we'll talk about
mothers.
that in just a minute.
That was their mothers.
At 12, and Andy brought this up too, which is really is kind of pointed. At 12 a.m. on the night before Mother's Day, the first Mother's Day, on Suzanne's Facebook page, she sent out friend requests to every guy around Andy's age around there, just kind of all the guys in that area, and said there was a whole bunch of guys about his age. And, it was almost like, he said that was totally out of character for her, that she didn't do anything like that. And it might have been somebody took over her account that night and was trying to make it look like that she was online, that she was still alive at that point. So I kind of think, what I've always said, that I believe, in my opinion, that whatever happened to her happened in the house, happened around the time of the phone call quit. Now, and the fact, that he actually embedded the idea of the bike thing by telling the woman that went out there and checked on the house, oh yeah, your car's here, we'll go back and check on the bike. He embedded that already in the storyline. Now, he did call, this is kind of weird and also real telling to me. He called Gene, Suzanne's father, the elderly father, and told him, I loved your daughter. And he said, Andy says, what do you mean you loved my daughter? Where is she? What happened to her? And he said, look, nothing's happened. I didn't do anything to her. I need you to sign this guardianship so I can get guardianship over her estate. And Gene told him, no, I'm not signing it. Well, somehow or another, he must have got an attorney, but he did get the guardianship. And along with that, I understand either sold or has up for sale the Indiana home. I want to say it's sold. And now, as everybody I'm sure knows on here, that he put the house up for sale that they're living in now. Now you think about this. He listed it for $1,764,417. It's kind of an odd thing. And I had a bunch of Zillow shots of the inside of the house and also of the outside of the house. But Denise, that's on here, thank you, Denise. She sent me an email saying that Plunder had run into some copyright violations with the realtor and Zillow. So I watched Plunder's talking about that, and she actually did. And that's another way to just probably get a copyright strike, or at least have your video taken down because you did put that in there. So I'm not going to do that. I would tell you, if you have Zillow, I would encourage you. If you have Zillow, open up Zillow and put in there 19057, I think it is, Puma Pass, or maybe 53, Puma Pass, Sadella, or what is that? Salida, Colorado. And it will come up Zillow. Now, it'll come up the last time when they bought the house, all the photos are in there from then. And also now all the photos are in there. They basically changed up the furniture and everything. But it does it does raise questions. One is, a lot of people don't sell their property around places that their kin is missing, so they always know they can always come home. Of course, she's an adult. If she was missing, taken, they could always find her. Yeah, Puma Path. And but that, I mean, he's trying to make $200,000 basically dollars on this property, over what he did have it bought it for. And why now? Why not? I mean, you think about this. If they're selling the property up there in Indiana, buying that lot over there, buying another lot of another place, somebody said they bought a condo, bought a brand new truck. I mean, they tell you, and this, my wife can tell you this, they tell you if you have a death of a spouse, or in this case, a missing, presumed dead of a spouse, that you shouldn't make any decisions, any life-changing decisions for the first year. 6 months at the very least.
No. If you have the death of a close family member or friend, you're not supposed to make any major decisions for 18 months because you don't realize how much in mourning you are, and other things.
Right. I mean, and we're talking about a missing person. Not, I mean, if you had a death in the family, you get some closure. You could put it in the mourning in. You could deal with about what you're going to do in the future. But this, he's not 100%. If he's not involved, and I don't know if he is or not 100%, if he's not involved, then why sell all the stuff? Sell the house in Indiana. Sell the house now that they bought with apparently money. I read somewhere that supposedly she had $500,000 from an inheritance or something like that, and put down on the house. So, I don't understand that. I just don't understand why.
Didn't he already clean her closet out?
I don't know about that.
I've heard that somewhere.
I don't know. But, yeah, some people are even remarried within a year of their spouse death. And, and that a lot of times I think that is because they're lonely, or they've been married for a long period of time. And, they seek that. I'm going to tell you a little thing I told my wife, I said, look, if something happens to me, I want you to remarry. I want you to enjoy your later years. I want you to remarry. And she said, well, tell her what you said.
I've got a sense of humor. So I said, well, duh, you didn't think I was coming to the funeral by myself, did you?
But she says, no, she's not. She don't want to get married again if something happens to me. But, I encourage that. I'm not saying the next week or anything, but I think it would.
Nope.
I think it would be good to share your life with somebody.
Once and done.
Yeah, I heard that. But, he can't really get married for 7 years until he can declare her dead. But there is no doubt in my mind, if this thing is not solved in 7 years, that he's going to move on. I mean, not to say that is bad, but I mean, he's done so much stuff right now. You think about that. Like I said, buy a new truck. Buying a new truck. I mean, some people can just go out and buy a new truck. Selling the property over there in Indiana. I want to say it's sold. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And putting this house up for sale. That's huge. That's huge. What?
Earth Angel said, who would trust Barry? Think about the women that wrote to Ted Bundy and wanted to marry him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's some crazy women out there.
But, I don't know what's going through his head, What did you say, Earth Angel? What do you mean? You have seen one real
I
test
haven't
from
seen
Barry?
one real
All fake?
test from Barry, all fake.
Yeah.
Retired
Well,
Sergeant Melinda said, was just wondering because of BM is guilty and dollar is on the motivation of crime. It's moving so fast. I didn't catch it.
go up, scroll up.
I did. Motivation of crime. What it says, what's to say that he won't do something to others who inherited Susan's money if they refuse to give it to him, I bet.
Yeah, well, we all too have got to wonder is where was this threat to Lauren? That to me, that is huge. I mean, who who would have the motivation to threaten her to come up, not to come out there? And I know that Draper. Hold on a second. I know that Draper said, uh, yeah,
I don't know how to slow it down.
The Draper said he was trying to stay away from him because they felt like maybe he was unstable. I understand. Yeah, any news about the remains found in the mine, near the mine? Yeah, I understand. And I read something about that. They believe that the remains was a lot older than it would have been Susan. I mean, I don't know how they can tell that because, well, 4 months. I don't think you'd be completely skeletalized. I don't know. I'm not a pathologist or a
Stephanie said
doctor.
he could be getting as much money as he can to leave the country.
Yeah, and the one thing too, I'm glad the daughters contacted their grandfather. At least that was allowed by Barry because, we've seen, in fact, we know a person like this, but we've seen that somebody, even daughters, friends, totally controlled by somebody. You don't need to talk to them. You can't talk to them, whatever. So, in a being in control and totally in control of somebody is a form of abuse.
Okay, somebody on the feed said earlier, how do we know for sure it was Suzanne talking to her friend the night that she was texting to her? How do you know it was?
Well, apparently, I think they verified that. I think that the law enforcement has verified that.
How would they verify it with Suzanne missing?
Well, apparently, maybe this friend came forward and said, hey, I was talking to her. And that's what I kind of gathered is the friend actually contacted the police and said, hey, I was talking to her at the time. It went, text went back. Yeah. I called the house. I couldn't get them. Called the house again. Nobody answered. So obviously the friend, because I don't think Barry would admit that, they have not found her phone the way I understand it. So I would think that it was the friend that did it. I don't know. There's a number of reasons why you could say could be justified in selling the home. One, he owns the home. His wife is not there. He has a guardianship. He can do what he wants to with the home. But, and he could use the excuse, well, I'm tired of getting harassed. People are coming by the house day and night. Reporters, blah, blah, blah. I want to move. I want to move somewhere more secluded, whatever. But I think it's going to be a hard sale. The home of Chris Watts is still for sale right now. I saw an article on that. They still have this house for sale. And, one thing is I've gotten a lot of, hold on, I'm trying to read here. Yeah, right. That you're right. Exactly. Sergeant Melinda said that the FBI and CBI specialists analyze the wording in text. And I'm sure they've got this friend's text, they have her text and they've used that too. And hopefully Suzanne shared more than just a casual about a wedding. Maybe she was sharing that, hey, it's getting bad here, whatever, you know what I mean? But we got to keep, listen, I'm going to still cover a bunch of missing person cases. on days that I cover stuff like this. But we got to keep the heat on. We got to keep the heat on this situation, because it'd be 1 or 2 weeks without anybody talking about it, and this thing would go cold. I'm telling you. And if you don't think it can happen, I look at it all the time, where you see, you see a missing person, the news will be on this thing, and then a couple of, hey, Two Crime, how you doing tonight? Glad to see you online. Absolutely. I was just explaining that we all need to keep this. Case with Barry and Suzanne Morphew hot, red hot, because if we don't, it can develop into a cold case. And just in my area alone, there's several missing people that basically there's nothing else said about them. Natalie Jones just found in the woods. Oh, I sure hate to hear that. I assume she's deceased.
That's the one that they told you about.
She was named Natalie Jones. She was saying something else. Was that somebody said earlier that they thought Jennifer Jones, a girl named Jennifer Jones, found in a car? Was that just breaking? It's just breaking. Well, I saw where one of her boyfriends was involved. He was in jail, or she was associated with him, that he had plans on trying to hire somebody to kill a deputy or something like that. So I thought right then maybe that she knew something that it cost her life. I hate to hear that. That's bad. I've been trying to keep up with that. No, I hope not, but maybe they can maybe something will come out of that. If they find a body, there's a whole lot of stuff they can do with the body. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not either there. Tube Crime, I'm not either. And I'm actually going to email you. I've got some information I got to pass on to you concerning you and me and our channels. Body likely a missing mom, Natalie Jones, found in the wooded area. Wow. I hope, that's sad, but after reading all that other stuff, I read where her mother said she was bipolar, and the night she got to wherever she was going, she said, I made it. So she did text somebody, I made it. They said she meant to say, I made it home, but apparently it wasn't home she was talking about. That's really sad. Now, another case that I'm following also that I hope we can get some information on is the Erica Erica Lloyd or Lloyd Erica. I think it's Erica Lloyd. She's missing out in Joshua Tree. She's been missing for a couple of months, about the same time that Natalie Jones was missing, actually. Well, if she's found in a wooded area, I could probably say it's probably a homicide for sure. Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. Hey, write that down for me on your paper, will you?
How about I take a picture of it?
Okay, take a picture so I can email him.
I can't find him.
Why? It's Two Crime there.
I got it.
Why didn't Morgan take a lie detector? That's a good question. I do not know. Other than the fact that maybe she knows something she don't want to tell,
Okay, retired sergeant says, do y'all know if anyone went out to look at the 3 acres in the same location where possible evidence was found and AC?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
Manuel says more than 180,000 people. It's more than that. 800,000 children come up missing in the United States every year.
Yeah, and I'm not making light of that at all. About 75% of them are runaways, though. But here's the problem with that, even because of that 75% of runaways, a lot of them enter into human trafficking because they run away, they get out there, they get lost, they find somebody that will Say, come on, I'll buy you lunch. I'll buy you dinner. We'll take care of you. Got a place you can stay. You know, it's okay to leave anytime you want, and then to hook them up with drugs and prostitution. Denver just posted a story that spoke with Barry. Really? Just posted a story they spoke with Barry? CBS Denver?
That's what it says.
Wow, we need to look into that too. You might want to run over there and look at that and see what that is.
CBS Denver.
Yeah, CBS Denver. Do you know what channel number CBS Denver is?
I can find it.
The Aurora, Colorado PD didn't take pictures or gather any evidence that was clearly a crime scene. Wow. Yeah, I can't understand that, you know. I don't know. I've seen, you know, but I've seen that in the local stuff. You know, they go out to you know, it may end up, you think it's just a burglary. It might turn into something a lot bigger. And the local guys don't take pictures, don't take fingerprints, don't take anything. I don't know. His daughter was terrified because, wait a minute, I missed it. It jumped up. Oh, okay. The Indiana home did sell. I thought it did. You know, and that I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is free and clear. So, you know, he's accumulating a lot of money.
Okay, on the story they've got written here, says the home is now up for sale, and more. Her husband says part of the decision to list it was due to what he believes happened to her. So he's selling it because of what he believes happened to her. She was 49, disappeared on May 10th. Her husband, Barry, believes she was abducted. Now he believes she was abducted, and told CBS 4 as a result, his daughters are terrified to return to the house, and the family has been renting a home nearby for the past several weeks. Another reason Barry felt the need to list the home is due to the extensive media coverage. He has been recorded against his will, and it had curious strangers wandering on the property. They set him down at the house on Sunday with no cameras. He said he wanted to share his side of the story. Since his wife's disappearance, Barry's brother-in-law has been his biggest critic, even implicating him in Suzanne's disappearance.
Yeah, I believe she was abducted too, but
not abducted, killed.
Well, no, I believe she was abducted out of her house and taken somewhere and killed, or either killed in her house and taken somewhere. In my opinion, I've been, you know, that's what I want to put out there. But
Barry said, I spent many a nights, Suzanne crying on my shoulder, asking why her siblings refused to show her love.
Oh, that is
crazy.
That is bad. Now he's attacking Andy personally right there. Did y'all hear that? That is sad that he would do that. He would try to hurt Andy and hurt them like that. Why did he say that? Was unnecessary. All that was unnecessary. That is crazy. Yeah, listen, if y'all have not been to Tube Crimes channel, please check him out. Awesome videos. Check him out. I watch every one of them. I'm a subscriber. Y'all need to go over and really watch his channel. And he gets some good stuff. He gets a lot of good information.
It also says that Suzanne...
Yeah, and he attacked him personally. But if you look at what he's looking at, I mean, if Andy would have attacked him, but after Barry was on the news every single night, and every time he could have a press conference, he had one, and he was leading the search, and he was standing out there behind everybody with his kids, pleading with the police, let's find my wife, then I'd say, okay, Andy, you criticize him for nothing. But Barry has not done that. He's refused to help search. He's refused to talk to the media other than to defend himself or go out against the police for bundling it up or saying his workers are meth heads. And he hasn't cried out to the media at all about finding his wife. A 25-second thing on up there on Facebook. So what?
Barry says he still clings to the hope and has faith that she's alive somewhere. Suzanne's daughters have started a GoFundMe page to aid in the search of their mother.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm not given to anything to do with the Barry Morphew or his daughters or anything because he's buying new trucks and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm not sure it ain't coming out of that fund. And I haven't seen any searches. And he could have, if he wanted to help searches, give that money to Andy, you know. And I know I've got to say, that it's in my opinion, and he is innocent to proven guilty. He is. But if it was me, let me just say that. If it was me and it was my wife, you could not keep me out of the news station, nearby news station, or off the news. I would be out there every day. I would be out there, you know, going around to houses, passing out flyers, and then the police had to do that. He didn't know. He wrote one little thing to that mini mart, and it said, bicycle, helmet, baby blue, back, other. He didn't say the name, what she looked like, what time she went missing, who to call, nothing. You know what I mean?
Hey, he also at that released a letter from Suzanne talking about how much she loved him and would be nothing without your love. But guess what, folks? There is no date on that letter. I mean, there's nothing that says it was written. I'm sure you got letters that I wrote to you.
Right, listen. Even if she wrote it the night before this happened, doesn't mean anything to me because you don't know what kind of narcissistic type of person, in my opinion, he is. And I've already talked about the guy that said that he assaulted him on a job site in Indiana out of rage, said he saw evil in his eyes. So what? I don't, if you're not out there trying to find your wife 24/7, then I think there's something wrong, in my opinion.
Kobe Galaxy says, nope, my mom was murdered. We wanted to stay in her home for comfort.
Right. Says they're running into a trap because they don't know what I do, Doda, and for a living. I can pull up anything through my federal top secret security clearance. So let them come at me. Hey.
I think she's been warned.
Somebody warned you of something? We had someone here with an email. I've since blocked their emails, and they can say anything to me.
Yeah, retired Sarge said I've been threatened equals warned.
Who threatened you? Do you know who they are?
Doesn't know.
Do you know who they are? That ticks me off. I'll be honest with you. I don't. You know what I mean? I don't. That's crazy. Been threatened. Wow. That ticks me off there, Sarge. I'm gonna tell you what. They do not. That really gripes me because I'm gonna tell you. When you start threatening somebody online, folks, I don't know if you know this or not, but the FBI gets involved in that. The FBI. And I know of two cases, two YouTubers that were threatened. One, it was a girl. I don't follow her that much anymore. She has an RV channel. Carolyn's RV, I think it is. She was threatened on her website. She reported it to the FBI. They got involved and they arrested that guy. Terroristic threat. So I encourage you, Sarge, to do everything you can to get this person, whoever it is, to get him put in jail. I would love for you to email me and tell me about that. I can pass on some information to you about a person that we've had on this channel.
She's already reported it and they're working on the case.
Good deal. Excellent. Yeah. If you're retired, first off, you're retired. That just shows people are stupid. I have been threatened in law enforcement many times, and I took it as what it was, and I was careful. But usually the people that threaten you are not the ones that you really have to fear. It's the people that don't say anything and do something. But those type of people are trying to intimidate you to quit doing something. And I had a person that was on my stream that was making some vague threats, and I blocked him. And hopefully they will understand that I'm not going to put up with that. I've made copies of everything, and well, good. I'm glad. But yeah, I report everything like that to the FBI because they take it pretty serious, Probably it may be the same guy. That's something I need to pass to you too. There's somebody that has said some things about you and me, and I want to pass it on to it. It may be the same guy we're talking about. But it's pretty sad when somebody feels so threatened or so, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Sarge, I agree. I'm not afraid of them. They should be afraid of me. Absolutely. It seems to be the more somebody tries to intimidate me, the more I come be on the offensive side. It seems like that is. Now, I'm going to tell you, I ain't no young chicken like I used to be, but I'm going to tell you how it is about.
You were never a young chicken.
Young rooster then.
I don't know what you were, but not a chicken or a rooster.
But once a cop, always a cop.
Yes.
And it never leaves you. Your instincts and everything else never leave you. And you can always pick up the phone and call somebody that's still on the job.
It's a young buck.
Young buck. There you go.
Not a chicken.
Well, chicken, rooster, whatever.
A buck. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
After today, we needed a good laugh.
Yeah, today it was just a crazy, crazy day for sure. But yeah, if you want to, Sarge, I'd appreciate it. Maybe if you could email me and tell me who the username was, because I would like to know in case it's the same person that I was talking to me.
Iris said, could you do a video someday about how to deal with stalking and threats and how to protect yourself, especially since women who are stalked and harassed go missing?
Hey,
MH.
Yes, absolutely. And, we can talk about that a little bit right now if y'all are not too tired. I've always heard that people walk right through the restraining order, and it is true. A lot of women get restraining orders on. Thank you, Roland. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You made true crime laugh. Chicken.
A lot of people say, don't get a restraining order. You'll just make them mad. No, you need to get, if you can, go ahead and get a restraining order. I'll tell you what a restraining order does: two things. One, it does put them on notice, and whatever, that if they come within 1,000 yards of you or whatever, that they will be arrested on site. Two, it lets law enforcement know that, hey, things are getting bad, and that things are. Now, stalking, I suggest if you think you're being stalked, call the police. I don't care if it's a neighbor that's just a little weird. Maui, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. I sincerely do. But
True Crime says he'll screenshot his list. It grows daily.
Yeah. But if you got somebody that is stalking you, I have people I've had recently.
Can I give you this question?
No, don't invite them over for a cup of tea, please. That's not a good thing.
what if you get a threat and then go ahead and invite them over for a cup of tea? You're inviting trouble.
Yeah, you don't need to look. If you get a threat and you report it to police, you got a stalker. The minute you invite them over into your area or zone, you can throw that restraining order out the window. It's not any good anymore. And you should actually
Beach fun, thanks.
You should actually report every if you have you have somebody that's stalking you. For instance, thanks, Beach Fun, I appreciate it. Had a lady that was telling me not too long ago, she was talking about she had a neighbor that was strange neighbor, would stand on the other side of their fence. Now, you got to realize we're not talking about 100 yards out the house, or we're talking about a good ways out there. Stand on the other side of the fence with a shotgun or something like that one time, but just stand on the other side of the fence. Or come within 50 yards of property line and just stand there and stare at the house. That type of thing is strange, to say the least. Call the police. Let them, preferably while he's out there, let them come and do the police report. And if they can, maybe they can warn him, sir, you're not allowed to be, you're harassing these people. They have a right to get a restraining order and blah, blah, blah. But most of the time, it's a ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, something like that, where it's causing you problems. Now, you have an ex-husband or ex-wife, and they're stalking you. They don't, maybe you're going through a bad divorce, or maybe they don't want the divorce and they're trying to catch you in something, or maybe the divorce in progress. And so you need to, when you do that, if you're involved in a divorce, you need to talk to your lawyer about, number one, getting a restraining order. First thing, keep them away from the house, keep them away from the kids, keep them away from anything until you can get a judge to say it's okay. And, notify your local police department. Hey, I got this restraining order. This is what it's about.
Okay, Caroline wants, there isn't any help for victims. It's very difficult for me right now. Where do I go? She had to leave a state. She said, where do I go?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like that. What we're saying is, where's the animals tonight? They're here, I promise you. They'll be, I'll get them out here in a minute. It won't take much. I'll have to say their name and they'd be in here.
Yeah, I'd get a gun.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not against firearms, I would suggest you get a firearm.
I tell you what, I carry a 38 special with a laser on it. So if I ever have to shoot somebody, I know where they're going to be shot.
And, that shooting somebody is the last thing you want to do. The very last thing. But it does leave you some confidence that you can protect yourself and not be raped and killed. I'd be searching 24/7 space. Absolutely, you're right there, Lisa.
I've been broke in on twice when Tommy wasn't home. One time I did not have a gun in the house, and I said never again.
Yeah, I was working third shift in a totally different area of the city. I was probably 20 miles away when at the other end of a city, was a fairly large city. And my sergeant came in and he said, your wife just got broken into. You need to get up there. She's okay, but you need to get up there. So I ran code from one end of the city to the next to get up there. But, it is, I mean, you know what I mean? I don't want to, home security measures for sure, burglar alarms. We are not affiliated, and we're not getting paid to say this, but I'll just tell you, Simply Safe has done wonders for us. I have it at my house, and we have it at our business, and I think it cost me $350, and that covered all of my windows. Put it up myself. They stick on the side. You don't have to do any drilling. And they have motion detectors. They have everything. And I feel a lot safer. My insurance went down about 30%. Set it every night when I go to bed. So, a good burglar alarm would be good. Animals in the house is another good thing. If you're not afraid of firearms and you believe in the Second Amendment, or not, I hate to say that. If you believe in firearms, then I would think having a firearm in the house is a good thing.
Well, also think when I was a youth leader in our churches, I would do scenarios with the girls and guys in which I would give them a scenario of what if this happens? What are you going to do? One of the scenarios was you're driving down the road, you stop at a stop sign or a red light, and someone gets in your car because you didn't lock the doors. They've got a gun or a knife and they say, drive. What do? I had grown women say, well, I would drive. And I would say, no, you wreck your car. You cause an accident so that it draws attention. And most of them said, wreck my car. I would never wreck my car. Well, we know of a girl that this happened to, and the guy took her up on the mountain and raped her and killed her. So, yes, wreck your car. That can be replaced.
You're right there, Tubecom. You're right. One thing, Beach Bum, you mentioned something about joining. We're not going to do memberships right now just because the overwhelming negative on the poll. And it may be when I get about 10,000 people subs, or later on down the road, we'll look at it again. We do have a Patreon page and we do have a PayPal page. But like I said, I don't want to throw that out there too much. It's hard times for a lot of people right now. You're Sergeant Melinda. You're an instructor. Have been practicing jiu-jitsu. Wow, awesome. Take self-defense classes. That's awesome. I tried to teach mine. And I don't know I think we mentioned this before. We have 2 adopted kids, and our son is from America, and our daughter is Korean. And we got our kids when they were small. And my daughter, I tried to teach her how to fight and wrestle. And I'm telling you what, her cousin, when she's about 14 years old, her cousin went up and patted her on the rear end as he was coming by. Before he knew it. He
didn't pat her, he hit her real hard.
Before he knew it, he was on the ground in a heartbeat. So, I tried to, and I know she's strong as an ox. She runs all the time, does everything. She's strong.
Jeep said it's in the UK. You can't.
Thank you, Roland.
You can't have pepper spray or a gun. Get some wasp spray.
Yeah, I understand. Like Canada is no guns in Canada for human defense. It's all for animals, and it's like shotguns and pistols stuff. And I don't have a problem with it if that's the country law. We believe in law. We believe in supporting the law, whatever you come to. But I'm just simply saying, if you do not fear owning a gun, that is a good defense, at least to make you feel good now inside your house. Now, let me tell you something. I said before, and I don't know if everybody was here, but I'll say it again. Yeah. What I would highly suggest is you take your key fob and put it beside your bed at night, because on your key fob, you have an alert button that you can punch and makes your headlights go off and on and your horn blow. That is a great thing to do. Even if you get some dogs turning over your garbage cans, or you hear something outside, you don't know what it is, you think some might be a prowler, hit that alert button and let it run for about 30 seconds. I guarantee you it'll scare them off. They will not stay around. They think it's an alarm going off. Now, I had a girl tell me, I don't want to do that. I wake my neighbors up. Really? So what? I mean, your neighbor's going to understand if you have to hit that alarm button and it goes off for a little bit. I wouldn't worry. That'd be the least of my worries. I even say that. I encourage women to take that thing and hold it in their hand when they're going to the car. See somebody around your car, it surprises you. Hit that alarm button. The noise itself.
Do not holler help, because somebody will think it's a domestic and they won't come to help. Yell fire or anything else, but not help.
Well, nowadays too, and if these car alarms go off in the parking lot, at least we look. We might not pay attention to them, but at least we look. But if you're over there, something's going on, you hit the alarm and you're screaming too, then people will obviously come to help you.
Somebody asked about what gun. I have my Ruger 38 hammerless revolver with laser, because when I put it in my hand, the laser comes on. I know where that bullet's going. And if I've got that bullet on somebody's chest and they keep coming at me, then they might get all 5 bullets.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people won't, if they do like have a shotgun in their house, they'll have a shotgun of some sort in their house and just keep it in their house. And then some people have kids. They can't have a lot of guns in the house because of kids. But now they make all kinds of safes where one is you put your hand on top of the safe. And do my hand where I can see it. Put your hand on top of the safe where your fingers are on top of these pads, and it's a binary lock. It unlocks the safe and you can remove your weapon. But regardless of that, and a lot of people, I understand states that you're in, countries that you're in, you can't have guns. Or maybe you don't feel comfortable enough getting a gun, or maybe you don't believe in guns. That's totally up to you. And I don't want to be here trying to preach the Second Amendment. I just can tell you what we do. We are armed in our house and we're armed in our car. And a lot of that comes by the fact that I was a cop all those years. There is a law called the Safe Streets Act that says all law enforcement retiring under good standing and qualify yearly can carry a gun anywhere in the United States without a warrant, without a permit. So that's why a lot of police officers carry. Make a fist? Yeah, absolutely. Sarge, you ought to do a video on a self-defense video, and if you send it to me, I'll put it up.
Yeah. That would be great. Get somebody that will be.
You can do it with a phone. If you do it with a phone, do it sideways. So I learned a lesson. Taking it up and down, it really messes up. You have to do it sideways. And it doesn't matter how it comes out. You can use editing software to flip it. But that'd be a great thing. Sure would. Anybody got any questions or want to talk about anything else involving the Morphew sale of their house, or I personally don't think he's going to have a lot of luck being in this situation about selling it.
Okay, Iris asked about, because she's got a problem with her hands not strong enough. My mother had arthritis in her hands, and she was able to pull the trigger on the 38 hammerless. Also, there's a gun called the Easy. Tell her about that.
I wouldn't suggest an automatic. That is not, if you're a woman and not familiar with guns.
Not the Easy?
No.
Okay.
I mean, if you want a gun, I would suggest a revolver, and shoot, put light loads in it, so you won't the recoil won't be too much for you. They do the same thing. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we trust in God too, Caroline. There's no doubt. It comes from the fact that I was a cop all those years, and I don't want to be not armed. Being a retired police officer, I wore narcotics for almost 20 years. I don't want to be somewhere and accidentally see somebody I ever put in prison. I mean, that's happened in my city. 30. I don't know if I told you about this. This happened recently. I saw somebody I put in federal prison 22 years for trafficking cocaine. He's out now. His brother, I also put in prison. He's doing life without. And me and my partner were involved in this case. We got DEA involved also. So I saw him 22 years later, and he recognized me. So I can't just not carry a weapon. You know what I mean? I feel like that it is in my best interest and my family's interest for me to be armed. And because of that reason right there. But, what I would suggest you do if you decide to get a weapon is to go and get training. Every city in the United States, there's somebody that trains. Mostly police departments do it. Somebody at the police department might do it on the side. Get training and know how to use it, know how to clean it, know what all the safety on it, and then go get a permit to carry it. And even if you keep it in your house, I appreciate that. It's everybody's own personal opinion and personal ideas about firearms. And, it's just, I'm not telling you that you're right, and I'm not telling you that you're wrong. I'm just telling you how I feel and my perspective and how I actually, what I have to do because of my prior career.
Well, not only that, but we are all individuals.
Right. You're right, Sergeant Melinda. You're right. Always check your out-of-state guidelines because, for instance, and we've read this story and we've told this story. There was a soldier. He was in the military. He was traveling through New Jersey, one of the most strictest gun laws in the United States. And he happened to have his guns in the trunk. He was permitted out of his home state.
He wasn't stopping in New Jersey.
He wasn't stopping. He was just going. Well, he gets stopped by a state trooper. They asked him, do you have any guns or drugs in the car? He said, well, I do have a gun. Here's my permit. I'm traveling through. It's in the trunk. I'm not carrying it up here, blah, blah, blah. And he was arrested and convicted, did 3 years in prison. So, I personally think maybe there was more to that story. I don't know a police officer in my state that would do that. Not that anybody that I've ever worked with. I just know that when I worked in other cities, if we found a weapon, as long as they wasn't doing something crazy, like involved in a shooting or a fight or displaying it. I mean, we had actually somebody that was had an AK-47 and shooting pelicans off the poles out near the waterfront back when I first got into law enforcement. The mayor actually called him and got him. He got federal jail because it was a protective bird. Maggie, come here. Maggie.
Did you leave? Maggie. Here.
Maggie must be asleep. Go get Maggie.
Is she snoring?
Maggie. Here she is.
Baby.
Come here, girl.
Come here, baby.
Come here. Can you hold this? I don't want her to pick it up.
Okay.
Whoops. Come here, baby.
Go say hello.
Come on, lay this down a minute. See if I can get Maggie to come up here.
Oh,
Come here.
Oh, goodness. There's
cover.
that sneeze.
Come here. Come.
You're going to have to back up some.
Oh. Come here, Max. Oh.
Some people hadn't seen Maggie. Whoops.
Whoops. Come here, Maggie.
You're going to tear everything.
Come here, Maggie.
Come here. Come here. Come here.
Come here.
Come here. Back up here. Cover. Cover. Maggie.
Cover. Come here.
Come here, Maggie. Look.
Maggie's being shy today.
Come here. Look.
You're all.
Look here. Look here. Look at there. Say hello. Here, cover.
Come
Cover.
Come here,
on,
baby.
Cover.
Come here.
Good
Oh,
girl.
goodness
There
gracious.
you go. Say
Yes.
hello.
Ah.
Say hello. Tommy needs some sugar. You gonna give him some sugar? Give him some sugar. Yeah, that's a good girl. All right, come here.
Okay, get in.
And there's the Rugrat.
This is Gracie.
Who does she
She's
looks
fat.
like? Yoda.
She looks a little bit like Yoda.
Yeah.
This one actually
Oh my
is the
gosh.
boss over the lab. I don't know what's up with Maggie. Oh, sorry. They're hitting the table. It's like an earthquake. And Moses, our cat's outside.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very
They
much.
both are beautiful pups, and we do love them.
Yeah. Matt and my son actually was home this weekend, and he was teaching Maggie to jump up and put her paws right up here on his and give him a hug. Well, that's okay when he was here, but when he left, now Maggie thinks, oh, I can jump up on Dad and put his paws up here. So anyway, thank you all for the super chats. We do appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow
We'll be back tomorrow night, and we'll give us some updates on what we did. The Natalie Jones and also Leah Cabot, and what they've told us in the news, and also we'll update you. And I guess I need to be a little bit more on the internet to find out about things, but these apparently happened in the last hour or two. But maybe we'll have some news if somebody was arrested or whatever. Yeah, you're right. She almost knocked me over. That's true. But we do appreciate everybody here every night. Please share the channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. We still have about 25% of people that come in do not subscribe but watch the channel. It does help us when you subscribe. It does help us when you give us a like. It does help the videos be shared more. And if you can share, we sure would appreciate it too. And we'll be back tomorrow night. And if you have anything you want us to cover or anything, be sure to send me an email down here at the bottom, the missing live stream at gmail.com. And I'll be sure to look into it. As long as it's not an ongoing murder case, I have no problem doing that. And I'm going to go ahead and push our outro. I hope to see you tomorrow night. God bless you. Stay safe. And we'll see you then.